Hello, everybody. This is the 1-year anniversary of Mission Prep.
Yay.
We have a really good guest for you today. Turned out to be a great conversation. And we also have a new sponsor to announce for you guys. Adaptive Tactical. They are an Idaho company. They have over 40 years of firearm design and a passion of stretching the boundaries of firearm innovation. So I'm kind of reading off of something right now. I'm going to let you guys know that, but I'll tell you how I really feel. Also, is I've toured their facility, really cool facility, good people. Everybody there that's involved I've met has been awesome. And they are coming on board to help us grow the show. So you guys should definitely go check them out, Adaptive Tactical. We will be doing a giveaway. We have some stuff from them. But in order to do that, you're going to need to go follow us on Instagram. And we are at Mission Prep Podcast. And they are at adaptive_tactical. And we'll be announcing that this week. So you should probably go on there and check that out and follow it. It's a good giveaway too. There's some good stuff in there. So I recommend checking that out. If you go to their website, adaptivetactical.com, and at checkout, use the code MP20. That'll give you 20% off of your order, whatever you order. And that does not include if they already have a thing going with the discounts and stuff like that. You can't get more than one discount. But anything that's not already discounted, you get 20% off using MP20 at checkout. And in addition to that, our listeners get free shipping of anything over $50.
That's incredible.
Which isn't hard to do on a website. On their website, you can spend $50 and get free shipping.
Yeah. Get yourself a butt stock, pistol grip.
Yeah. So they have stocks, grips. They do a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah.
Go check them out. MP20 at checkout, and that'll get you the 20% off at Adaptive Tactical. And I guess we'll mention the other sponsors too.
I prefer the MP40 though.
You talk about that sponsor.
Mountain Primal. If you guys haven't heard, we're sponsored by Mountain Primal.
That's a fact.
They have absolutely great meat. I'm actually getting some more. I ran out. Had some ribeye and dude. Yeah.
My favorite thing is the fuel sticks, little protein packed.
Yeah, fuel sticks are all. Well, but that's what's cool about those is because obviously you can take them wherever you want. If you want to go hunting, you're going to go camping, you're going to go hiking, there they are. If you just want to give them to your kids to shut up, there you go. Kids love them too.
Kevin in the face with it.
Yeah. And it's not like Slim Jims. They don't fucking give you heartburn.
No, and they're way more protein packed and they're way healthier.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have all the shit. So, yeah, Mountain Primal, code Mission Prep at checkout. Get you 15% off. So, Mountain Primal, Adaptive Tactical. Let's get in the episode with Rob Oberst. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Hi.
What's Mission Prep? Tell me what that's all about.
So we are here for our 1-year anniversary episode. We've been trucking along and things have changed and adapted, and here we are. And we have a guest on here today that most of you probably already know who he is, but if you don't, you're going to get to know him. So Rob Oberst, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them who you are.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes,
This is the part where I'm supposed to take my pants off, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine are already off.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. We've been, because we knew you lived in town, and we're like, one of these days we're going to sit down and fucking talk with that guy. And things worked out, ended up getting in touch, and here we are. Phones are vibrating. That happens.
It's on silent.
So
I always usually keep mine right under my balls because it feels good when it goes off and it vibrates.
mine's sitting
I
there.
lost that. I stopped doing that back in the day when there was the BlackBerry scare. You remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the BlackBerry scare?
Yeah.
The testicle scare of or was it late 90s or early 2000s?
It's early 2000s.
There
Yeah.
we go. Yeah. So everyone was like worried about their balls. So like I still don't do it, even though I'm sure it's safe now.
I carry it in my front pocket all day, and it's right there.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna die.
No, when you actually, that's the thing is we can scare people by saying certain words and using certain scare tactics then to incite fear. But when you actually know, like somebody's got 5 gigahertz, This is still not a high enough frequency, short wavelength, right? Like gamma ray bursts, right? Very high frequency, short wavelength. Shit tears your DNA apart. You're fucked like in seconds, right? This is not even close to that. I mean, not even on a fucking magnitude of like.
Right, but is it at anywhere like on the scale that would bother you?
No.
Were the old BlackBerry ones though?
No, not even at 5 Gs, dude. At 5 gigahertz, I mean.
But they were less Gs back then. So like, and that phone was more dangerous than our phones now.
Yeah, this is higher frequency, shorter wavelengths. So the shorter the wavelengths, you're squishing the weight like long wavelengths, like microwaves and stuff. So which are microwaves are in the 10 to the minus 6. Then you have like radio waves, which can be like 30 meters, right? It's so long and so long of a wavelength. It's not really going to interact with your body in a way that's going to harm it. And so the frequencies that cell phones are still using, this isn't a powerful or short wavelengths, high frequency or short wavelengths enough to like fuck with your DNA or anything like that.
So all that was basically to say my balls are okay.
Yeah.
Nerd.
No, even
that's what you want from the guy telling you your balls are safe. You
That's
want
true.
the fucking explanation. He's like, no, I'll tell you why your nuts are safe, bro. That's what you need.
So let's start with what in the world brought you to Idaho?
Oh, that's an easy one, man. I got a little boy, and so I was in Texas, and we moved from California to Texas. So instead of doing the whole, everyone gets upset when you go California to Idaho, right? So I like washed myself clean. I baptized myself in the Texas
little detour.
desert. Yeah. So now everyone's like, "Oh, you're from Texas. You're welcome." I'm like, yeah.
If you only knew.
I was raised by hippies in Northern California.
Yeah.
So, but we were in Texas, and we were all planning. I divorced from my wife, and her and I were planning on going to Texas to do everything there. It didn't feel right, and it didn't work out for her, and so she wanted to be up here. They live just over the border, which for us is like, 6 miles, and she wanted to be close to her family, and so I was like, yeah, I mean, for one, I can't force you to do anything else, and two, like, I totally understand it. So came out here and love it, man. I freaking love it. I repeatedly tell people that this is probably the only state who can teach Texas a thing or two about freedom, and I truly mean that. I love Texas. I love Texas very much, and I'm so pleased to have found that Idaho has everything that I like about Texas. And it's also got a little bit more, you know. I mean, for me, the freaking heat and humidity of Texas ate me up, man. You get used to it, but I train outdoors. I do. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I'm a professional strongman. I've been a professional athlete my whole life. I've never had a real job, unless you consider, bouncing a real job. And, I work out all the time. And so being in Texas, it would be, on a cold day in the summer, it's 110, 90% humidity. And you've got a headache just walking out the door, and you could try and carry yokes and heavy weights. It's a lot of work. And so here we've got a little bit of elevation, which makes me feel better with prep and everything. And then also the weather, and then the people. Like I said, I was raised by hippies in California. And so I've got like the inner workings of probably like 4 or 5 different types of people. Like I'm very hippie. I'm sitting here barefoot right now. Like I love being barefoot. I'm very much into doing weird drugs in the woods and all that kind of stuff. I'm very into that. And I'm also, my father was in motorcycle clubs, we'll call them. And I've been around the rough crowds too. I like the guns, and I like all the other stuff too. So like, I feel almost like this like floating amoeba of everything. So that kind of fits here in Idaho. We've got a lot of people from different spots, a lot of people specifically from Idaho who hold that old school value that hold strong as well. And it's perfect size.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I don't want to freaking brag too much about it and have people move.
We've talked about it
Yeah.
on here before. It's horrible, and you should probably not move here.
Yeah, unless you want to live in a potato.
Yeah,
man.
that's
Like,
all that's
all
here
we
is
have
potatoes.
is potatoes.
Yeah, if you
Potatoes and Mormons.
no, if you like being outdoors and fucking, you know, shooting guns,
Go to
and-
Montana.
Go to Montana.
Go to
Yep.
Montana.
New Mexico's for you.
Yeah.
Well, no, like what you were just saying about the way you were raised. I was raised kind of similar. My parents were like hippies that had guns and that hunted, and my dad, same thing, rode bikes. He was in the Marines. Hippie as hell. He'd go out in the garage and smoke pot, which I didn't know growing up that he was doing that.
Old school military guys really switched their like mentality
Mhm.
after their service for
Oh,
the
yeah.
most part. You know,
Mhm.
my dad was the same when he got
Mhm.
back from Nam, became a whole different person.
Yeah. And yeah, that's how it like, and my mom was raised, she was raised in Idaho, country as can be, but also kind of hippie, kind of country. And so I was raised
There's a
with
lot of similarities with true country folk
Yeah.
and hippies.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about old school hippies. When I say hippies, I mean like people who are actually about love and peace and self regulation,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, hippie means something totally different.
Yeah.
I mean the like old version.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it's, I think Kevin kind of comes from the same cloth as well. Like that makes an interesting person. That you have parents that are like that, and it's kind of same with my wife and myself. We're not the same at all. We have different things about us, and our kids are going to get both those, and hopefully turn out to be good people.
Yeah, I think
That's all you can hope for.
You find some balance, but within that balance, I feel like there's some sort of like it can be an unhealthy environment too. Like my mom's the same way. We grew up in the North End, you know, and my mom's a hippie, and she like that version of the hippie, the one that's just like, you know what, please don't die, I'll see you tonight. Like they just everything, let's go.
Right.
If you fuck up, it's like there's only thing but love. There's never criticism. It's not the kind of mother that's like,
Right.
you're not good enough, you need to do this.
Never made you go to school, never cared about grades because it didn't.
No,
really
it didn't
fit.
matter.
Same
It was about
here.
being a good
Same
person
here.
first, because we do know a good person will make good decisions as they get older, which we have. We're obviously good people and we don't fuck up. We're not in prison, you know. And then there's the other, like my dad also rode for like Brother Speed here, you know, and everything. And he's a total fucking tight ass. So it's like you had to find balance somewhere in there between the two.
Yeah. We also had to learn, like for me, my family was that way too, but they never cared. Like if I went to school, like my senior year, they pulled me in the office, and I remember it was like 2 weeks before graduation, and the office assistant lady had this crazy look on her face. She made me sit there, and then the principal came in, and you never talk to the principal in my school. It's this huge California school. Like you only talk to him. I mean, the one kid I knew who had to have a meeting with him spit in his face during a fight. And I saw him spit in the principal's face, and I was like, oh crap. And then everyone was like, oh, he's got to sit with the principal now. And so that was like this huge deal. So the principal comes in, and he's got a calendar. And on the calendar, like 90% of the thing was marked in red. And he goes, see these? Every red date was dates that you skipped school.
Yeah. It sounds like you're telling my story right now.
Yeah.
And I wasn't supposed to graduate. He was like, you have not passed whatever credit you need. You haven't gone to school enough. You've not hit enough markings or points. I'm at a loss for words for how he said it. It's been so long since high school, but like I basically everything didn't add up to graduating. And he was like, it was crazy. Everyone knew I was an all-state football player. I was second team All-American. There was schools flying in every week. And that didn't happen in my school. My school, we were surfers, we were skaters, and there was a lot of gang banging and stuff. And so like, for someone to achieve athletics like that in that school, it was a big deal. And I think that was the reason why he gave me an out. He was like, look, you take one extra course for like a week at the beginning of summer, and you go do 2 hours of cleaning like of the property, and then you're good. They let me walk and everything. I got my diploma, and I still didn't go back for that like week course in the summer.
Yeah, when I was in high school, similar story. I didn't go. I skipped so much.
Did your parents care?
Yes and no. It was kind of because it was a similar thing. Like as long as you're being a good person, that's what matters. But they did want me to graduate high school. I know that, And the thing was I was skipping a lot without them even fucking knowing. And I don't know if I've ever told this story on here before, but one day my parents went to work, I went to school, and then me and my best friend went back to my house. We're like, let's go back to sleep. And I had a basement room, and so it was nice and dark and cool. We went down there, turned off all the lights. We're laying down to sleep. My buddy, which I think I told you about him, he's 6'8". He passed away last year. Big, heavy guy, right? He's laying on my futon mattress. I'm laying on the couch. We're both sleeping. All of a sudden, upstairs, I hear boom, 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 footsteps coming across. I'm like, oh, fuck, my dad's here. I hear him coming down the stairs, and I tell John, my friend, like, dude, act like you're asleep. Just fucking act like you're asleep. So we close our eyes, and he comes in. And my dad thinks it's me on the futon. And John was probably 400 pounds. And my dad grabs the futon, just flips it over, and John hits the ground. He realizes it's not me. He comes over to me, and my dad never laid a hand on me. Never had to. I was terrified of him, and never touched me. He comes over to me, and I said something about like, what the fuck are you doing? And he raised his fist, and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And he stopped, get up, go to school. Yes, sir. And then we got up and we went to John's house. So
I've never heard of anyone ditching school and going and sleeping.
Oh yeah, that's what
crazy.
we did. Yeah.
Well, where I was, our school was a couple blocks from the beach, so we would all like rally and go to Beer Can Beach with beers and stuff. You know,
we would do stuff like that too, but that day, man, we're going back to sleep, and that was a terrible idea. Because my dad he was a driver for work, and he was out on his route, and he happened to drive by the street and saw my Bronco sitting out front, and he's like, "Oh, what's this fucking kid doing?"
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna die that day, but no, I mean, like, I ended up all of my friends either got kicked out or dropped out of our high school.
Yeah.
And so then I'm left by myself, and they all went to the alternative high school. And I asked my parents, I'm like, can I go there? Because usually kids get sent there. They don't ask to go there. And I ended up going there, which was a mistake, because then I ended up dropping out.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Alternative high schools are rough.
Oh, it was rough. And the crowds there. I mean, there was a lot of fights, they called our group of guys the Cowboy Gang, because everybody wore belt buckles and cowboy hats and Wranglers back in those days. And they labeled us as a gang, which was ridiculous,
right?
Because we were involved in violence and stuff. But anyway, I ended up dropping out. I got my GED. And so I kind of think back and wish, like, man, I wish my parents would have pushed me a little harder, so I would have stayed in.
For me, for sure. I wish. I mean,
bring that mic a little closer.
All those. My mom still has this giant box that's probably big as the back of your pickup right there, and it's full of letters from all these different colleges offering me scholarships, begging me to come out and everything. And to know that was like on the table, and yet I still had to go through all the fucking crazy shit I had to go through just to get where I'm at, just because I didn't take education seriously. I mean, I was homeless. I sold drugs. I had a hit put out on me, like all this crazy ass shit and more, all simply because, like, I just thought school was stupid, you know, and it would have been that easy. Like I already agreed to go to Nebraska out of high school, and I had to miss out on that scholarship and to junior college. And if I would have just gone straight to Nebraska, it would have been a different life. But honestly, when you look at it now, I'm happy the way that it came out.
Well, yeah,
it is what it is. And I feel like my character is better because of it. I feel like my son's life will be so much better because of what I went through. And, you know, like, I know how to, you know, be prepared for college now.
You also know how to tell him what not to do.
Exactly.
I'm the same with my kids.
Yeah. And also like your father, I don't even think he's intimidated by me, because he's got me by the balls, because he knows that, like, he's my entire world. Like, not even close. He's everything. And he's just so well behaved that I've never even really had to do much more than, like, maybe once or twice raise my voice. But I've told him, I was like, because his mom spanked him before, and he was like saying, you know, it was just a little like that, you know, like nothing serious. He's just turned 6, and I'm telling you, he's a good kid. You guys know him. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
And so it's never been like, you know, we caught him stealing or anything like that where he deserves a real spanking. But after his mom patted his butt one time, he said something to me, and he said, Daddy, would you spank me like that? And I was like, buddy, look at my hands. I promise
Hands
you,
are as big as you
I
are.
promise you, I will never hit you. I promise you, I will never hit you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like going further. He's like, but why? Why wouldn't you? And I was like, well, when your mom hit you, how much did it hurt? And he's like, oh, not too much. I was just sad. And I was like, yeah, but if daddy hits you, it's really going to hurt, bud. So there's no reason for me to do that. There's like none.
Well, that's, the first day I met you in person, because something about like, I know you don't like to call yourself a celebrity, but you're kind of a celebrity, and celebrities, quote unquote, can have this allure to them that people think they know them already. They already know if they like them or they don't like them, when in all reality, they probably don't know the real fucking person at all.
Most certainly.
And the first day I met you, you were with your son, and I'm watching you, how you interact with him. And me being a dad of a boy the same age, that means more to me than almost anything. When I watch the way a guy handles his children, and seeing how involved you were and all that shit, and I'm like, okay, now I like this guy. Like, let's become buddies, because I really and then the next day when we came over to your place and I saw the way you interacted, and the way you interacted with me and Kevin's kids.
I just like kids, man.
Yeah, me too.
I grew up one of 10 siblings. I love kids. Atlas spoiled me. Like, I mean, I feel like I've almost missed out on part of the childhood having children experience, because he doesn't like push me or rebel or anything. He definitely checks his edges, but like, he's the kind of kid, he'll come home and he'll be like, Dad, I think I did something wrong today. I accidentally said stupid when I was trying to say something else, and I just had to tell you. And I'm like, you're heart of gold. It's ridiculous. It's so sweet. So I feel like I'm wanting 2 more kids, and I feel like one of them's definitely going to be the devil. It has to be.
Well, and that's part of the family system. When you like psychology research a family system, that's going to happen, because it's not just you 3 anymore, or just you and him, or just him and his mom. Now it's him and a sibling and you, or there's all that that variation in there.
He wants a sibling though. He begs for a little brother, a little sister, and he's also the kid who, like, when we're around other kids, he'll like go help little kids up and take care of them and stuff.
Well, and also you being strongman, your big beard, tattoos. When people see someone that looks like yourself from the outside, that's a rough motherfucker,
right?
And which I'm sure you can be a rough motherfucker if you have to. But seeing you that day with your kid, I'm like, this guy's got a good heart.
And that's my ultimate place. That's where I feel I'm centered.
And you see it in the kids, because there are definitely guys out there that come off as cool fucking guys, but when you see how their kids are, you're like, that guy's got demons, because that's not how he really is.
Right.
Like, people think I'm a little intense sometimes, but you see my kids like, oh, they're super fucking nice. That's really how I am with my kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas
your kids reflect you a lot,
right.
and everyone. I mean, you guys specifically, I've known you guys for now, it's been like almost a month, and I see everything inside your children. Like your children is such a reflection of who you both are. It's insane. And everyone's that way, I mean, it's just whether or not we accept it or see it. You always see those people in the grocery store that are like, they're screaming as soon as they get in, and they've been screaming the whole 2 hours they've been walking around. And there's no question as to why those kids have a harder time.
Yeah. And what I think is a really good idea, when you have kids that come from good people, you can teach them more, because they're not dealing with other shit, so they can really learn. Right. I'm talking about outside of the classroom environment. Like, all of our kids should be together learning how to fucking tie knots, how to save someone else in a pool, how to get behind a long gun. Like, I said that. Get a fucking kid behind a gun.
Atlas has got a cricket.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's what I mean. Like a 22 or cricket, something.
Well, he got it when he was 5, and that was as big as we go. And we do the same. I'm an Eagle Scout, and because of that, I like to do different things. I haven't really set him up as far as being in like scouts or any of that stuff, but making sure that he's prepared to tie knots,
right?
Which to me, I always thought was like super dorky. It's funny you brought it up, but I'm good at it because scouts,
Yeah. So. But that's why it's the community environment. Are we going to push them off to school, and are we going to rely on the school to do that, or are we going
to raise us, them raise them, or we raise them?
Like, as fathers, can we get together and like, hey, what do you know I don't? What do you know? What can we all put together and teach each other and teach the kids together?
That's one of
You
those
know,
things
like-
that's almost impossible to avoid in this state. Like, again, this is going to be the last nice thing I say about Idaho, because
Yeah.
I'm really worried about it. We already grew so much. And right now, between Boise and Meridian, we have 2 of the top 5 growing cities in America, as well as they had the most growth in home value over the last 2 years. I just saw that.
And we don't have the roads to maintain it. So fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, man. We're growing potatoes.
Unless you're like really fucking cool, then you can move
No,
here.
not even them, man. We don't even want nobody else. Nobody.
Stay in Austin.
Joe Rogan's not even invited out here. Nobody. So, but being in Idaho, you have to deal with that in some way or another. Like living in California, and California is like 2 different states, and living in Texas is like about 5 different states. I mean, people from outside Texas, they're like, oh yeah, Houston and Dallas are the same. And it's like, go to Houston, go to Dallas, go to El Paso, go to San Antonio, go to Austin, and tell me that those are the same fucking state. It's not. But here in Idaho, you are around so many people. The percentage of, not numbers wise, but the percentage of people who are active in rearing a child that way, who are like consistently searching out other people to keep them active with, or to like teach them and all that. Like it's just so ingrained in such a high percentage of people in this state that it's like your kid might be the weird one if you're like not teaching him to go camping or to go outside or to play with a ball, even all that stuff, all the normal kid stuff that's kind of been put to the wayside. Here, that's the normal still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, it changes a little. Like growing up here, I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. Me and Kevin, when we were kids, we'd be out on our bicycles all day. We'd ride downtown Boise, go to the skate park, shit like that. Now, I probably wouldn't let my kid go because there's too much fucking traffic. There's too many people. I'd be worried about them getting hit. But so, I mean, there's some changes, but you still do have like those core values that I grew up with. I try to pass on to my kids. I'm not perfect by any means. There's shit like I think about things like I want to teach them, and it's like, okay, I need to do that because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
You know,
The scary part is, like I said, it is other people. You know, when we have a foundation of the things we want to do and how we interact with other people and their kids, and then there's someone who sits like trying to cross the road up here in a neighborhood, and then some people are just going by like 40 miles an hour and not stopping to let us cross.
Yeah.
But those are the people. It's just hard to approach. How can I can't change that person.
Right.
I can't go fucking
they're
fight
not going
them.
to hear you either.
They're not going to hear me.
Like there's it's one of those situations where like if you went and said everything that they needed to hear, it wouldn't matter.
No,
you know, like
they have to want to be
or an old man follows you to your driveway.
Yeah. Both of us have had crazy road experiences in the last.
I couldn't like that's. First of all, that's really stupid. Following someone to their house, you don't know what the fuck's getting out of that car.
Right.
You don't know what they're getting out
Plus,
with.
if you had your kid with you, like
different story there.
Then you got to be like, all right, well, I need to protect them
Yeah.
before anything.
Yeah.
happens.
And like I told you the story, I didn't feel any threat. The guy was like 70 something years old.
Right.
He followed me to my driveway. But if it was a younger man, like I would have been more intense getting out, looking in my mirror, seeing him as an old guy. I got out calm, and I would have probably tried to stay calm because that's how you diffuse stuff. But
of course,
also, and I told the guy, I'm like, hey, following someone to their driveway is not a good idea, man.
It's not safe.
I could have got out with a gun. He doesn't know what's coming out of that car.
And that's the thing
if it would have been me and I would have had my son in the car, I wouldn't have got out waving a gun, but I would have got out with a gun on my person.
Mm-hmm. And
for sure,
it's like I don't care even if somebody cut me off. I would not follow them to their driveway.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to their turf, and who knows what the fuck's coming out.
Because you don't know what they're going to do. Because remember, fear is your brain telling you to be careful, right? And so if I'm trained to use that fear to be careful and to eliminate a threat, say someone does that to me and they get out and they have a face tattoo. I'm sorry, because of media, because of movies, or because of reality, I associate that with a threat. And so you may have just fucked yourself. Like if you get out of the car, I might just ball you up or stab you. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I have knives.
But at that point, when you, especially following someone to their house, huge no. But if that person were to then get out and step on your driveway, like it's just.
Well, that's crossing the line, like literally and figuratively.
Yeah. That's them saying they don't care about your boundaries. I'm here to hurt you. Right.
Well, and for you guys listening, a guy said I cut him off, and I don't think I did. And my wife would say otherwise, because yesterday someone almost hit us, and it was my fault after that. But anyways, in a parking lot.
But don't worry, we beat this old man's ass.
Yeah, it was.
He was 80 and he was
It was
crying on the
carnage.
road. We had to get his grandchildren out here to pick him up.
But no, the guy thought I cut him off. He followed me into my neighborhood to my house, which I didn't realize. I thought maybe it was somebody who lived in the neighborhood. If I knew he was following my house, I probably wouldn't have pulled in the driveway. It's like,
Right.
I don't want him knowing where I
No,
live.
fuck no.
And I pulled.
I
in.
do that every time I pull into the house. I look around.
Yeah.
People fucking watch.
When I pulled in, and sure enough, he just stops right behind me, long ways in the street. And I'm like, motherfucker. And I see he's an old man. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And I get
See,
out, and he's,
yeah.
you cut me off. Like, and he wasn't even yelling, but he wasn't happy.
See, if you know you're gonna cut somebody off, just wave at them like, thanks, and wave at them. Like,
Bro, just like 2 weeks before that, I was driving with my son. There's one of the lanes was shut down on 84. Is it 84?
Mhm.
Sorry, but I'm new. It's only been a year. So one of the lanes was shut down at 84, and I'm driving right next to a big rig that's shipping beer and stuff locally. And I'm not going to say the company. But there's about 150, 200 yards until the lane ends, and I'm dead smack in the middle. So I can either like hit the brakes, get behind him, or I can gun it and get in front of him. There's plenty of room on either side. So I was just like, whatever. Like, I'll gun it and get in front. It's 80 miles per hour there. I only had to go like 90 to get in front of him. So not
Well,
really.
he probably wasn't doing 80.
No. And so as I'm going to pass him, he guns it. And he just revs right up and puts me into the cones. Like I knocked over a couple cones, shoves me up, and like I'm literally like what looked like centimeters, probably just barely inches away from this guy.
wow.
And I get in front of him, and he's like still trying to run me off the road. And finally, like, he gives up, and I'm couldn't believe that happened in the first place. And then with traffic stops, like about, another 500 yards up the road, traffic stopped for a minute. And I'm sitting there, and he's like flipping me off and all this stuff. And I learned a long time ago, living in LA, getting upset means they win, right? So like,
Yeah.
I've done the whole sit there in my car and scream, and had someone laugh at me as they drove off. And I was like, I will never fucking do that again, ever. So this guy's behind me flipping out and screaming and cussing, and I just waved at him, and I gave him the thumbs up, and that was it. And it's like, I know how that feels. And that's like basically the only repercussion, the only like reaction I could have that would get any type of response other than like more berating and screaming and all that stuff. That's the only way that I could think of that would make him feel a little silly.
Mm-hmm.
If I just totally went the opposite way.
That's diffusing the situation too.
And so he puts it in park, jumps out of his truck on the highway, in the middle of the highway, and marches up to the side of the car and starts screaming and motherfucking me, and literally standing on the highway. And I'm like, your company is like right there on the side of your truck.
Billboard.
It's got a number right there. You've got a giant Budweiser sign on there, which guess what? I've been one of their main title athletes for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 20 numbers I could call that would fucking ruin you. Like you don't know what you're doing. Also, you're in the middle of the fucking highway. Like, even if I was just someone who had no idea about anything, like that's a huge no-no.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to get out of your car.
Yeah.
And he's screaming and cussing, and I put my window down.
I was gonna say, did he see you?
He did. He's so like he marched up like he was tough, and then I put my window down very calmly. As being a bouncer for a long time, it's very eerie to some people. I'm extremely calm in crazy situations like that, like altercations, all that kind of stuff. I got in a fight in the back of a taxi cab in London, and I don't think my heart rate raised one bit, not even a bit. And the guy I was fighting was my size.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah. And so he's at the front, and I'm just letting him finish, as I didn't want to like cut him off and then have that become the new argument,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been married, I know how to do it. I let him finish all of his shit, and I was like, bud, you're standing in the highway screaming at me, and I've got a 5-year-old sitting back there. If you don't go back and get in your truck, I'm gonna get out, and you're not gonna like it. And he goes, well, fuck that. And then he walks off. like, all right. So that was, in my opinion, the best way to handle it. But I was so upset, and Atlas was bawling. He's like freaking out, crying, and then he wants to like, he needs to understand like if the cops are gonna come and all that kind of stuff. And he's a kid, like he was so stressed out about it, and I was pissed. Like I called the company and I was yelling and screaming on the answer machine and everything. And then the next day they called me back and wanted to know who it was. And I was like, man, don't worry about it. The guy doesn't need to lose his job over this. And we're all in a situation. Every single one of us right now is going through something. It's never been like this in the history of the world, other than maybe when the Black Plague was happening. And even then there were parts of the world that didn't really feel it. We are all in some kind of foxhole right now. And I don't need to take that guy's job because of some fucking 2-minute mistake on the road, you know? Or if that guy's got kids himself and all that. So he looked like a decent enough dude, you know? So
he might have been having a bad day. And like you said, right now people are on edge. Like I drive for a living. I'm out there every day and I see it every day. People are a little bit more on edge because everybody's, whether it's COVID, whether it's you don't have a job, whatever's going on right now, everybody's a little bit on edge because nobody's happy with what's going on. I don't care what political party people are with. Nobody's 100% happy with what's going on in the world right now. No. So I think people are a little bit on edge. And I get in a lot of situations because I'm on the road every single day where road rage could happen. And I always try to be, okay, just like you said, wave at them. Usually if you wave at somebody, and like yesterday when I said I almost got hit in a parking lot, I took the blame. I told my wife right away, I'm like, yeah, it was my fault. I fucking blinked right there. It was his turn to go and I cut the guy off in a parking lot. So it wasn't like high speed or anything.
Right.
But it's like, either if it's your fault, take the fucking blame. If it's your fault, which can be hard to do. It's hard to say you're wrong. Or just like you said, wave at them, kill with kindness, like they say. You wave, and most of the time, because I have had people, you know, I'll pull out in a semi, and a semi doesn't go very fast. I'll pull out in front of people because sometimes it's the only opening I have. There's horns honking on, so thanks, thanks for letting me in, and then it's over.
People take small things as a slight, maybe not used to it. Because this is just a different era. This is the era of getting up, going to work, coming home, watching football, drinking beer, eating pizza, and repeat. It's
been that era for a long time. I think the difference now is a lot of people have. I mean, every podcast that's ever been done has gone over the same shit. Where it's like, well, nowadays people can talk online and there's no repercussions. And now everyone also feels like their voice is more important because they have people that they can yell at online. We all know where we're at. It's a product of our time. And I think the best thing that any of us could possibly do is not be that product.
Right. I agree. And just be fucking nice.
And honestly, if you are feeling neurotic, like I fucking dare you right now, anyone listening, I fucking dare, if you're local, obviously, or even if you're not.
I'll give you his address. Don't worry.
No, I dare you to like contact us and come work out with me. Come work out, come shooting with me, anything. I will blow my fucking homework off and hang out with people. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've always said that too. It's like, I have a fucking gym in my garage. Let's work out. Let's go run. Let's go do anything. If you want to go on a hike, I'm always down.
I can't make that offer. I'm not.
Well,
because then I'll get actual assholes who actually have no real to develop a type. You're doing it as like an opening to like show that you're a regular person, show that you can spend time and have like a common bond, show that like if they can hang with you, it's also showing that they've got a little bit more grit than whatever. There's a whole lot of points to you being able to do it. With mine, I would end up being drugged and probably skull fucked in my sleep.
Well, I was gonna say too, like,
well, half of it's honestly mental health. It's like
the skull fucking.
Yeah, that. Of course. That fuck your brain. No, I just mean like to get like maybe you go to the same gym every day. Like, man, I want some perspective. I want to change it up. Go hang out with Kevin. So it's not ego.
So it's not a threat, because the way you were saying "I dare you," I thought it was more like it was more like, "Oh, you want to fuck around? Come eat this dick."
No, that's just my personality.
Because I was gonna say we're not big enough yet that we have a bunch of people that hate us.
No,
like because we have had.
What he was saying makes more sense now that we understand it.
I agree, because I thought the same thing.
He's offering sexual favors.
Yeah, skull fuckings and all
fuckery.
Like I dare someone actually like have like to not feel like, oh, I'm gonna put Kevin out or something like that. No, change your perspective for a day or
Yeah.
every day or once a week or twice a week.
Mhm.
Like, come, like I'm
It's
always
a nice
an
way to
open
build
invitation.
community too. And I've
Yeah.
I've always been about that. That's one of the things I'd like to do in our area is build more of a communal feeling, more of this is our culture rather than, you know, this is the way it used to be versus this is the way we want it to be. I want it to be like, you know, this is our culture. In Idaho, we take care of each other. We bust our ass. We don't judge. All that kind of stuff that you can feel from people in this state. I'd really like to build that, and as well as like our fucking food culture, man. God damn, we need some food
So
loving.
you should have seen it when we were kids, because when we were kids, there was nothing.
It really was just potatoes.
Oh,
back
dude.
then.
And like now, like the amount of restaurants we do have here.
But amount of restaurants to some,
Well, we have some good ones.
it's a step up. It
Yeah.
is. I totally see the growth and I see the step up. I was here 10, 15 years ago,
Mhm.
and I've been a couple times and I've seen the growth. I see it. It's just, we're at that beginning phase. You know, when your kid's just starting to get stuff, right? And then they're telling lies about everything, but they're just repeating everything they hear.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I had a dragon, and oh, this and that.
Mhm.
And it's like, we're in that phase. Idaho's in that phase of like, we're just telling lies because we've just found out that we have a voice.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we're going to be California one day. This lady told me that we're going to be just like California. And then other people are like, oh, we can barbecue just like these other people. And then these other people are like, oh, we can do this like somebody else.
Yeah.
And I would so much rather people be like, God damn, man, you should go to Boise if you want to try out some real barbecue.
Yeah.
Or if you want to find some really good food, Boise for some reason has it, you know.
Yeah.
Not just food. Food is just an expression
what you're
of
saying.
that whole situation.
Well, and like that's the upside of growth, right? Because with growth, you do get better food spots. You get better coffee spots. I'm huge into coffee.
Yeah, same here. We do have coffee.
We do.
have
We have some good coffee.
Dutch Bros is funny as the two guys who opened up Dutch Bros. I believe they were brothers, or they might have been brothers. So they split up. One of the brothers went to a small town in Texas called New Braunfels, which is where I lived.
Mhm.
And he opened up 3 shops there that are called something else. I can't remember. And he got sued by Dutch Bros for
Really?
copying their stuff. And when I was in Texas, that was my favorite coffee. It was so freaking delicious. Then came out here and I was like, oh, it's like the same shit. This is awesome. And then Googled it and found out what happened. And I was like, for sure, we have amazing coffee here.
Mhm.
I'll give it that. I don't know if it trickles down from Oregon and Seattle, but either way, we do have really good coffee.
Well, like,
Yeah.
and I don't bring guests on here to disagree with them and fight, but that's where I draw the line. Dutch Bros is garbage.
Really?
Oh, dude, I hate Dutch
love
Bros.
it.
We have trademarked the term that Dutch Bros is the Keystone Light of coffee. It really is.
I like them light baby beers too, man. When you're gonna drink 40 beers, you need them light.
For me, it's too watered down. But the biggest thing about the actual coffee shop
Is the
Is-
fucking conversation
is when
they
I
won't
pull
let
up
you
and they're
leave.
jumping inside my fucking
Oh,
car.
yes. Have you seen those like videos on
First
social
of all,
media where the girl
yeah.
sits in it?
Yeah.
No, totally. I totally agree with that. I just really, there's 2 drinks there that I really like. I'm a Kona coffee guy.
Mhm.
It's like I never really had coffee growing up. My dad used to drink black, fucking nasty,
Right, Folgers.
literally Folgers black.
Mhm.
And to him that was everything. And it was so fucking gross the first time I had coffee. And then I had Kona bean with like the right kind of cream. And I was like, Jesus Christ, it's like having dessert. It's
Mhm.
so good. So for me, it's all about like that Kona flavor. I love that almond stuff. They've got several different ones of those over at Dutch Bros. I mean, what do you consider better? Like the human being? Or
So
some
actually, I don't
shit?
like human
No.
being either. So there's one right now. My favorite one locally is called Caffeina.
Caffeine.
Their coffee is so fucking rich, and I drink black coffee.
Where's Caffeina?
There's 2 locations. There's one on Overland, just past Cole, and then there's one down in Garden City. And
But
but
really,
their coffee is really
Overland
good.
past Cole.
Yeah, like if you go-
Overland towards, like if we went straight to
Yeah.
Overland on Eagle, we'd hang a right.
So
or
if,
left?
if you went down Overland east, if you took a right on
East.
Overland,
So it's a right on
for you
Overland.
people that don't live here, sorry about this, but yeah. Anyways, go down.
I'm trying to find some
Yes,
coffee, people.
So if you, this is my favorite. This is where I buy my beans. If I don't buy
and
it
what
from
it's called, Caffeina.
Caffeina. So if you were to go Eagle to Overland, take a right.
Yeah.
You head straight go through Cole Road. Eventually, there's this overpass walking bridge that goes to an elementary school.
Yeah.
It's right by that.
Okay, so it's like way past. It's right past Costco.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
awesome.
but there is-
Cafeína.
But there is better coffee than those places.
There's also Dawson
They're on
Taylor.
par, which are like
Dawson Taylor.
That's another. They're a lot of coffee shops here use their coffee.
So downtown we have like Slow by Slow and
That's
Push
true.
and Pour.
That's true.
Those
So
are both better.
you're saying all kinds of places I've never heard of, but
Those are like more hipster style coffee shops.
that's what I was going to bring up. I've
Yeah.
been to, I've been a coffee nut for a long time. Like, I mean, a long time, probably not as long as you guys, if you've been drinking coffee your whole life, but I travel everywhere. So it feels like I got a lot of experience with it. And I would, for the last maybe 8 to 10 years, everywhere I would go, I would always find the best donut shop and the best coffee place because I love donuts, man.
Me too.
Drives me nuts. We don't have any real good donuts here.
Guru's good.
Guru's
So,
okay.
Guru
And
for me.
Guru might be towards the top.
Guru
Country Donuts is okay.
Country Donuts is the shit. So you right now, you don't want to know my favorite donuts? Albertson's Marketplace.
Yes, Albertson's Marketplace
so
has the
true.
best donuts here.
Yeah.
They're,
It's
that's
crazy.
Yeah.
But they do like the cinnamon rolls with the maple and they're fresh.
There's a
Yeah.
new one though, right over here on Overland Eagle, I guess, called Sweet Sensations. Haven't tried it yet, but I've heard good
It is
things.
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah.
Overland Eagle.
to be
They're also
honest-
making a new Albertsons Marketplace right,
Right
there.
there.
Fuck yes,
Yeah.
they
So
are.
that's where I'm just gonna walk every day, get my donuts, walk back,
Yeah.
run it off. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna hop on my scooter.
yeah.
I'm gonna drive. So, anyways, I would travel everywhere and do coffee, and I would always, you always hear about these places, like the hipster places get the most publicity. They get the most love.
Yeah.
Come downtown and don't wear deodorant, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
where your $400 RC Terex jacket.
And
Yeah.
if you want to wait 45 minutes for your cup of coffee.
But what I've found is that, cold brew is probably my favorite style. I tend to get that more regularly. What I found though is almost all those hipster places that I've been to have the same tasting coffee, and it tastes to me like shit. It's fucking terrible.
Almost burnt.
What it is I started questioning people as I would travel. I would ask them, how long do you soak the beans? How long are not you grind them and soak them? So you can call them soaked in beans, whatever. How long do you soak? And almost every single one of them was like, oh, we do it in the morning. So they're soaked for 5 hours.
Fuck that.
That's too long.
No, it's too short.
24 hours, bro.
Dude,
Oh, wait, no, you're right, you're right,
24 is
you're right.
good. If you can get it over 8, between 8 and 12 is good. Even longer is better. But fuck, man, if you're doing 5 hours on even on good coffee, I've done it myself in the house. I've done, test it, do my favorite bean, which is Kona, and I'll do Kona for 5 hours, and it tastes like fucking piss.
Yeah.
I just listened to a podcast with Evan from Black Rifle.
Yeah, I do the Black Rifle cold brews,
Well,
and I soak for 24 hours.
He was
before I even
talking about the Kona thing.
start.
He was talking about Kona coffee because all that it's coffee from Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But he was talking about how expensive Kona beans are,
So expensive. bro.
which I don't know.
So
I didn't know any
fucking
about that.
expensive,
He just did how Andy Stumpf does the Full Auto Fridays. It's just questions.
Yeah.
Him and Evan Hafer just did one. It was all coffee questions,
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
and it was you need to listen to it because he goes into detail about how to do the Chemex,
Okay.
like detail, and that's what you use. But so let's pivot since we're getting longer into it.
Something I want to talk about. I don't know if you're one of those guys who's going to be an asshole about this, but like
I will.
when it comes to like training, because I know when people go up the ladder in strength sports, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, and strongman.
They'd stop there at the top of the ladder, strongman.
Well, that's what I finished on that. didn't I?
Wait a minute.
Right,
You're
right.
not a CrossFitter.
I wasn't gonna say.
I was doing CrossFit 15 years before CrossFit was invented, and
Well,
we
yeah.
just called it football
It
training.
was football training exactly, and
But no,
wrestling.
I like CrossFit. People talk a lot of shit, but I think the idea of CrossFit's great. And to me, no matter what you're training, I'm always going to say, if it gets you off the couch, it's good.
Exactly.
Of course, you should not be out there max snatching on day one. Any idiot should know that. And if you need me to tell you that, then you should probably just go do it and fuck your shit up so you can stop.
Yeah.
But for most common people, they understand that you need to work up to it and be safe. And I'm not the person to run around and be the fucking police officer of fitness, which a lot of people want to do because they get mad that CrossFit's really popular. And honestly, I'm not jealous of CrossFit, and I'm happy people are off the couch. So.
Well,
Yeah,
for me being a fat guy my whole life who didn't have any workout experience, CrossFit was my first go at weightlifting, and it was with Kevin. And for me, it was like oh, I like this because it's almost a competition, and so it's fun,
Yeah.
right? And I've never done any like strongman
yeah.
shit, so maybe I'd like that too. But
It's strongman and CrossFit have so much carryover. It's almost the same thing, especially people who aren't trying to be a professional strongman. You can have so much fun with strongman.
well, and I always enjoyed like in his CrossFit gym, we would do like yoke carries and stuff. And
exactly.
I never did anything super heavy, but I enjoyed that stuff because it's
Exactly.
unconventional. I always also liked
works you in all kinds of crazy ways. It's
dude.
just like CrossFit.
Yeah.
You can't be prepared for everything in CrossFit. You know,
one of my
that's the thing.
favorite. Well, sorry, I mean, I just want one of my favorite things that you used to implement for a warm up was when you do the partner with the med ball, and you'd run past each other, throw it to the next guy, run around him, he pass it to you. I like that shit because it's unconventional and it doesn't feel like a workout. It feels like you're having fun. That's the same reason I like jujitsu.
Pushing each other.
My favorite workouts are not Fran. They're not a barbell, just like in the gym. Like I like being outside, doing something, getting fucking dirty. Because that was maybe from deployments. We were in rocks working out.
You always implemented that type of stuff.
So we were always doing it like the fucking like the Rocky 2 way. Was it Rocky? Yeah, Rocky 2.
Yeah,
right?
we were hitting meat in the freezer.
Yeah, dude. But like, and that's because I do have an eclectic personality in general. So I like to implement everything into it because it's more fun and intriguing. And I mean, and it depends on what your goals are. If your goals are to look like Daniel Craig and like fucking Casino Royale.
Who's Daniel Craig?
James Bond.
Like Casino Royale.
The newest, the most recent one.
Yeah, no, Casino Royale is the first one he was in.
People get so mad. I don't like James Bond. But there's only one James Bond for me.
Who is it?
And
Sean Connery.
Oh, no. I would go as far to say Sean Connery is acceptable. But in my opinion, there's only been one James Bond.
Does this have to do with Nintendo 64?
Yes. And every other one sucked.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yes. Not even close, man. That's the only one I even liked. Like I can't even watch the other ones.
Goldeneye 64. One of the best video games.
I just put
of all
a bid. So I've been doing some auction stuff. There's an auction going right now. It closes out tomorrow. And I put a bid on an N64 with like 3,000 games.
Oh shit.
It says working 4 controllers, 3,000 games, still in box.
Well, I know
right now the bid's at $22.
I know where me and Kevin are going to spend a weekend when you get that.
That's it. If you're trying to like Daniel Craig after like Casino Royale, where he comes out of the water, he's his fucking Ranger panties essentially.
Yeah.
Like for one, he's already a lean guy. He has good genetics. But what he did was go figure a low carb. It was like 50% protein, 30% fat.
Sorry. Just a couple Mexican supplements.
Yeah. And obviously because he was training 5 days a week and essentially was doing CrossFit, it was circuit training. It was bodybuilding circuit training.
Wasn't that the same with Gerard Butler when he did 300?
Yeah,
I would go as far to say there's nobody out there who can go 5 days a week of hardcore CrossFit training and not.
They're on PEDs. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to get to. That's why I come back around to that. Because for sure he was on that because 5 days a week of bodybuilding circuits, which essentially was like CrossFit, whatever.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of guys like
supersets is what we call them.
Yeah. And even when I was doing like try to get more competitive in the powerlifting, weightlifting, it was 4 days of lifting. Is that the same as you? Like 4 days?
Yeah, it's 4 days. Big boys train 4 days normally. Right now I have an injury. So I've got a quarter tear on the front of my rotator cuff, and I've got about just under 40% tear on my rear rotator cuff, and with a couple other little tears throughout just to spice things up. And because of that, right now I'm doing 3 days a week, but normally it's 4. Sorry. Yeah. Normally it's 4. We do like a upper body heavy, lower body heavy, back to a second upper body heavy with dynamic accessories, and then a full event day. The reason for 2 upper body days is your upper body heals a lot faster. Your heart's closer to your arms and your traps and all that stuff. So blood pumps out faster. You can train your upper body twice a week versus lower body once a week. If you're gacked out on all that crazy shit, which, a lot of guys who compete it's easy to get away with. But if you are on all that stuff, a lot of those guys will go 5 to even some of them do 7 days a week, but that's so short-lived. It's
no longevity.
I've been in the game for a while now. There's been so many times guys have shown up and they're like, oh shit, this is that new guy. Like this guy's going to be the fucking guy. And then a month later, it's like, oh no, he never going to lift weights again.
So do you know how long you're going to be out with the tears you were talking about?
Yeah. At the moment, so it's a day-to-day thing. I have a team and I've got people, and I'm fucking paying out the ass just to make sure they tell me what to do. But right now it is 3 to 4 weeks of nothing, followed by 2 months of no over 90 degree, so no overhead stuff. I can do bench and stuff like that, and I can do decline. I can do all like below my chest stuff, as long as it's lightweight and there's no pain. And then after that, then supposedly I'll be good to go. It's up in the air though. I've been rough on myself, so I'm gonna do the smart thing and I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna make sure that everything's good to go before I push it. And in all actuality, it's very possible that I'll end up even missing more time than has been allotted me, just to be secure and safe. I'm at the point in my career where I'm looking at 2-3 more World's Strongest Man, battles. And to me, it's so much more important for those fights to be strong, to look good. Like, I don't want to be one of those guys who ends up being helped off and ends his career being at the bottom. I want to go out on my shield.
Yeah, no one likes to see that in any sport,
right?
Where a guy's he's way past his prime and still trying to go.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to finesse that. And I do have plenty left in the tank. It's not like I feel like I should leave now. It's just I want to leave before the tank's empty. And it's my 2 of my biggest fears. One is sticking around too long and ruining my legacy, and the other is dying like that. Like I don't want to die that way either. I lived my whole life on my feet. That's the way I want to go out. So
yeah.
And so when you're finished with that, is there still gonna be part of you that's pushing at that tempo, or are you gonna like maintain yourself at like 80% of that tempo?
You tempo as far as like workout, or are you talking about my mentality?
No, the mentality I hope doesn't change.
Never.
Yeah,
I've been this way since I was fucking 12.
Yeah, no, I would rather see your mentality not change. I mean, just
Style
overall
of
volume.
training.
Overall volume. Yeah.
The volume will be there, but it will be so different. Because like I'm not doing a ton of volume right now.
Right.
I'm doing heavy, hard, lots of rest. Destroy your fucking self, lay on the floor, destroy yourself, take a nap, destroy yourself, that kind of fucking training.
Okay.
And it's like powerlifting with a ton of movement, it's like tons of cardio involved as well. And as soon as I'm done with strongman, I'll do the training that I want to do. I want to look good with my fucking shirt off. I want to fucking feel good. I want to survive when the fucking zombie comes. Like all the stuff that I want to do. I want to train like that. So honestly, I cannot wait to do that. I'll probably drop 100 pounds and feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, carrying around less on your frame.
Yeah, that'd be
so. I guess we can end with this. I hear a rumor that you're starting up a podcast.
Yes.
So if you want to tell our listeners about that, so they can check it out.
Right.
Tell them what's it called? When are you doing it?
If they enjoy sexually explicit material,
check out his OnlyFans.
Oh yes, but I'm getting working. Actually, we've been getting a lot of help from the boys here, and it's been a long time coming. I've always knew that I was going to have one. I just didn't know exactly when it was going to come together. I used to do a podcast and it was great, but the person I used to do it with lived far away, so it just didn't work out. This one will be out, and it'll be out this week. It'll be out. It's called Mad Ramblings with Robert Oberst. It's called Mad Ramblings because that's literally what it is. It's going to be me talking about my crazy thoughts and stuff, and basically we're going to keep you up to date on what's going on in the world of strength, talk a little bit about current events, talk about my perspective on things, and whatever I'm interested in. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and I kind of shaped it after those podcasts where I want it to be entertaining. I want you to take something from it, but I'm going to be me. Like it'll never be a podcast where down the road, all of a sudden you hear me like catering to some weird shit or acting and like, you know, telling you to do something, you know, that I'm not about. Like, it'll never ever be that. It'll always be a reflection of who I am. And so, you know, that's what it is. Mad Ramblings with Robert Oberst, and it'll be out everywhere this week.
Yes, sir. And I just started the editing process on your first one. I think people are going to like it.
Yeah. He told me it was a little bit too much nudity.
I'm pretty sure I said there wasn't enough, but you know, it's whatever.
Well, dude, like you said, we still gotta do our OnlyFans with making pancakes naked. But
Nice.
with Rob on there too, it's like, dude, it's like, oh man,
I don't know, that flipping over hot batter with stuff hanging out. Can we do waffles?
We do waffles. It's so lame.
I have a Mickey Mouse waffle maker.
Nice.
But yeah, dude. Yeah, we can end it so you can get on your way. But I appreciate you coming and doing
I know
this.
you said you had to go see your favorite person, Joe Biden, at the airport. So.
Yeah, man. I got a bunch of stuff to do, man. I've been running all over. It's funny is like I'm more messed up now. I've been doing housework, right? Because I've been off. So I cut my finger in half almost. Jesus. I busted my big toe, my right foot down the middle. And then yesterday I busted up my left foot in like 3 spots. So I've got a torn shoulder, my left hand, my right foot, and my left foot are all fuckered up.
Quit fucking hurting yourself.
It's because I walk around barefoot, and my boss is cool, bro.
Is he?
Yeah.
I heard he's a big motherfucker too.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on and doing this, and we got to do. We'll do it again one of these
Thanks
days.
for having us, guys.
Yes, sir.
I like to imagine my boss like in a tuxedo T-shirt.